since the first season of The Acolyte had wrapped up, and then there was news that The Acolyte would not be renewed for a season 2, it seems that there's even more drama coming out about The Acolyte, which you could make an argument that actually has more of a compelling storyline than the actual show itself. But now there's a story out of Forbes talking about differences amongst the creators and what Disney wanted for a lead on the show. And there's some interesting little tidbits in here that we're going to check out. So figured let's go through this article and talk about it. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. And the article title again is Disney versus the Acolyte creator differences reportedly emerge about casting a lead. This is by Paul Tassi. Says things are getting weird in the post-Acolyte cancellation era as new accounts are emerging about the production of the show and what splits there may have been before any of this fell apart. A story now making the rounds is from Jeff Schneider that Keanu Reeves almost played Master Soul in The Acolyte rather than Lee Jung-jae of Squid Game fame, who ended up with the role. And now Lucasfilm reportedly says they still want Reeves for some other role in Star Wars. Instead, interestingly, his Matrix co-star Carrie-Anne Moss did appear in The Acolyte. I mean, I like Keanu Reeves, but please stay away. Just don't go to Star Wars right now. Just don't. Just don't do it. However, fans are noting this is a stark difference to what showrunner Leslie Headland said about Lee Jung-jae's casting, where she could not be more clear that she wanted him for the part from moment one. Here, when she was talking to IGN, she said, I think with the cast, honestly, they were just all the people that I wanted. I saw Squid Game and I had written this character and I had no idea who to cast and I had no idea who was going to be able to play all these different levels. And then I thought about Squid Game and I was like, that's the guy, that's him. I don't know how I get in touch with this person. I don't know if they want to perform in English. To me, it became so clearly Lee Jung-jae's part as opposed to casting him for the fact he's a Korean movie star. And then when I worked with him, I was like, this is the best actor I've ever worked with. I mean, I will say he was a better part of the show, even though like he didn't speak English very well. He was still a better actor than most people on the show, even with English being his second language. So Lee Jung-jae famously learned English phonetically in just 4 months to take on the role, as he was well regarded as having an incredible performance in the series. He did well. But you can see the conflict here, as Headland wanted no one but him for the role, where it seemed, according to these reports, that the studio may have been pushing a larger movie star for the part, perhaps to attract a wider audience with his name alone, though that will no doubt never be officially confirmed. I mean, there's been rumblings of Keanu Reeves in like Marvel stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he's a popular name. He's someone you could see popping up in Star Wars. So it wouldn't come as a surprise that they may have wanted a bigger name. That, I mean, you know, whether you like him or not, Lee Jung-jae just doesn't have the same appeal that Keanu Reeves does. So it would make sense that a studio would want Keanu in it. But I will say, if you did have a Keanu Reeves in this, I think it would have got more people's attention because people really do like Keanu Reeves. He's a very popular actor. Now, I don't think Keanu himself would have made the show good. I think a lot of people may have tuned in initially to check it out more, but I think ultimately bad writing, bad storytelling, all those things were going to win out regardless. But I do think you would have got more eyeballs, at least in the initial part of the series, if, say, Keanu Reeves was in it. Now, already upset fans are theorizing this story was leaked to an insider almost immediately as supposed retaliation for comments Lee Jung-jae just made supporting a season 2 of The Acolyte. He said, personally speaking, I really loved Leslie's writing. Don't know why. I thought she was a great writer and director who was very talented in the storytelling, as well as creating characters and creating meaningful structures within the story. So I was actually personally really looking forward to watching a season 2 with her at the helm. I don't know why, but that is what he said. Honestly, I'm hoping that maybe there could be changes in the future, Lee said, because you never know what's going to happen. So on a personal level, I really hope we could get to see further stories of Leslie's second season. Well, thankfully, we all don't have to witness that. That's a pretty tame response, and there's no firm evidence that this was some sort of story plant by the studio, yet there is the perception about many fans regardless. In contrast, Rebecca Henderson, Vanestra, actress and Headland's wife, has posted more pointed things, tweets, and articles suggesting the cancellation gave into the worst part of the Star Wars fan base, of course. There may be more information yet to emerge on how The Acolyte went from gearing up for a season 2 to canceled within a month, but for now, it remains a bit fuzzy, and details like this reinforce some measure of possible studio versus creator conflict. It's not complicated here why the Acolyte didn't get a season 2. Again, we did a video on this. Forbes did an article on this. Not enough people watched it. It was too expensive. It didn't make money, and people didn't subscribe to Disney Plus to watch the show. It's that simple. All these people running around blaming parts of the fan base for not liking it. Listen, you like what you like and you don't like what you don't like. Okay. If people don't like it, it is well within their rights to do that. If you like the Acolyte, that is great. There just weren't that many of you that liked it because clearly not enough people watched it. If you look at the numbers, it was the least watched Disney Plus Star Wars show that they've had. It just simply was. It also cost almost $200 million, which is the budget of a major movie. So therefore, for it to make money, they would have had to have, I don't know how many, but they would have had to have had a lot of people sign up to Disney Plus for this to make any sense. And it just didn't happen. It's not complicated. There's no conspiracy. It's not a popular show. As much as you may like it, it just wasn't popular. I know people like to blame things and they want what they want, but at the end of the day, there just was not that many people that were fans of this show. It is really that simple. Trust me, Lucasfilm would have loved for there to be a season 2 of this show. They would have loved nothing else for there to be a season 2 because they definitely don't want to give any sort of quote win to that part of the fan base that they don't like, being the people that are fans of the, original trilogy and the prequels. And really what it comes down to is Star Wars has desecrated their fan base. They have treated them poorly. And now most fans are at the point now of just looking at it and just watching it with almost apathy, which is a bad place to be as a brand. So the only people that are genuinely into Star Wars currently are people that were into, say, the Acolyte, but there's not enough of them. And this is the problem Star Wars has, is they have the fan base that they have cultivated that they wanted is not enough people to make up for all the people that they lost. So Lucasfilm made this show for the new audience that they've wanted. Those people showed up for it, but I think really what it comes down to is there's not enough of those people to justify a lot of the stuff that they're doing. And it'll be interesting to see going forward how they make any adjustments. I think the big test of this will be the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I don't really know what that's going to do. I mean, the Mandalorian had a lot of momentum, but the fact that now you have a TV show that's now going to have what was presumably their season 4 is now going to be a movie. I just don't know. If that doesn't do well, I really don't know what Lucasfilm does. Now, if it does well, obviously it breathes life into a little bit of Star Wars, at least for the Mandalorian, and so they can ride, that wave of momentum to some degree. But when it comes to the Acolyte itself, the reason there's not a season 2 is just not enough people watched it. It didn't make any money, and it was too expensive. And that's really as simple as it gets. But ultimately, I'm sure there will be more things that emerge because it seems like this is just an ongoing saga that is maybe going to be more compelling than the show itself was. But that is going to be it for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. I always do lots of coverage here of pop culture and theme parks. And let us know in the comments, do you think Keanu Reeves would have made this show better? Or do you think it would have been received about the same way? And until next time, we will see you later.